Welcome to the Transition Podcast. This is episode 1. I'm your host, Kellen, as well as Will. We have two guys here, former college football players, NFL players. We have Malik and, is it Roshaun? Roshaun. And we just want to get into it. And how about you guys tell us a little bit about yourself?
Cool, I guess I'll start. Malik Jackson, born and raised in San Fernando Valley, Los Angeles suburb. Birmingham High School, went to Southern California for 2 years and Tennessee for 2 years.
What was it like playing ball in Southern California?
It was a dream come true, being a hometown kid, being able to go at one of the premier schools in the city and, have your friends from high school and your family be able to attend, but also kind of see what you made yourself. It was nice as a stamp of approval. It was cool just to be here, be close to family, and just have the support. But I must say, when I transferred to Tennessee, it was better for me because you get to go by yourself and go out and learn yourself and be on your own and kind of grow up. So, yeah.
And what position did you play?
I was a defensive tackle.
Did you play D tackle in high school as well?
Yeah, I was defensive end in high school, and then after high school, I became defensive tackle. Well, going to college at SC, played behind Everson Griffin and Clay Matthews, and I was like, maybe I should go inside. So when I transferred to Tennessee, I was able to use the quickness and the length to go inside in 3 tech.
Rashaun, can you tell us a little bit about your background and where you started and where you're from?
So, interestingly enough, I'm from Jersey, of course, best place in the world.
Brian Cushing.
Right, Brian Cushing. He played behind it too. Went to Jersey. I'm from Jersey. Went to St. Peter's Prep High School. I kind of fell in love with football just in dirty, I don't know if you guys can take your imaginations here, but just imagine East Coast, 90s, vacant parking lot, broken glass, and a boy and a ball. That's my beginning, and
that's all we had.
Yeah, that's all we had.
High school was just a flip phone with a 3-letter text.
For real.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so then I went to St. Peter's Prep, all boys school, Jesuit school, right adjacent to Manhattan, suburb of Manhattan, but it's New Jersey because we're literally looking over the water. And then I went to UVA, which is where I met Will. Come out of high school, I had a lot of offers, and I thought I was going to go to SC. Decided to stay closer to home. Played running back. Interestingly enough, I played a few different positions at Virginia. I played tailback, fullback, linebacker, fullback and linebacker at the same time. It was very interesting for me. But yeah.
Where were your 5 visits, both of you guys? Where'd you guys visit?
You go first.
So I went to Syracuse, Nebraska, LSU, Rutgers, and Virginia.
Funny enough, I was supposed to go to ASU, but I waited. I didn't understand the benefits of the taking your trip, so I did Fresno State, which is where I was committed for a while, and then decommitted there and went to Southern California. So I did Southern California, Fresno State. I had an ASU one set up, which I really wish I would have took, but didn't take that one. And then I went to my buddy's UCLA one, which that was a great time.
Did USC come in later?
Yeah, USC came in later. It was one of those things, just like the Senior Bowl happened in college. Somebody dropped out or decommitted, so they offered me.
Nice. So how'd you like your guys' college experience? What did you guys major in?
Football.
I feel you.
Right? Honestly, all that other stuff. Yeah, so I did social psych. I came in for econ, but I realized I wasn't able to juggle both at the same time. So I kind of switched it up. And
yeah, I went to do mechanical engineering. That was what I wanted to do. And then I went to the counselor, and she was like, yeah, that doesn't work with football, so we're going to do sociology. I was like, all right. You know what I mean? So,
dude, I think that's the same.
That's the same spill almost every university gives us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At UNLV, they had university studies. And it was not a major. It was getting to take a little bit of everything. And that's your major, university studies. And you look at half the people are taking university studies.
Or general studies.
Yeah.
The NCAA game was real, huh? It's learn about your universities. I was like, man, I thought it was fake. That's funny.
I think, not to change the direction of this conversation, but I feel like that period of time is where it's like the twilight zone for athletes, because it's like you come from the love of the game of the broken glass parking lot to the field in high school where you'll break a leg and still try to go play, to an area where you probably still gonna do it in college, but it might not be wise, financially for you, because now you're like that tweener. You're not like a professional athlete, but
semi-pro.
And now with NIL, I feel like it's professional.
Boy.
These kids are good.
These kids are making bank, driving around better cars than me. I'm like, dang. It's funny. My college career started because I was about 11 playing Pop Warner, and my dad sat me down, me and my twin brother, and was like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to send you guys to college, so you guys need to earn a scholarship. And I was like, well, all right. So since then I knew, like, if I want to go to college and continue the work, I need to be able to be good enough to get a scholarship. And so that was always on my mind, to go out there and get that. It happened, so yeah.
Kind of similar for me. Like, with me, it's my dad who played in the NFL, so it was kind of, you better figure this out. And I didn't get his size. Luckily, I got the speed, and that's kind of what helped me get to the next level. But I bet you I was a little bit more worried than you guys when I was going into my junior year. Like, I couldn't get injured.
Yeah.
It wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah.
I had to perform, so it was really stressful.
Yeah, you got that pressure on you, that family lineage. We were the first, so it's
So Malik, I want to ask this targeted question to you because we're in the era of the transfer portal, also obviously NIL, which we didn't have that opportunity, but specifically the transfer portal and you having that transfer experience, and it set you up for a career success. Can you talk about your experience and how the kids today can use it for good, and not just, hey, I'm not playing, I want to go somewhere that I can get more PT, but a place that is a good fit. Can you talk about fit and somewhere that you will be developed?
Yeah, that was a crazy time, right? Because it wasn't like today where you can transfer and people are after you, you know what's up, you're getting paid to transfer, right? Like, that wasn't the deal. It was really like if you left and you were kind of risking your career and everything. And the reason why I had to leave is because we were with Coach Carroll and he took the job in Seattle. And when he took the job in Seattle, another coach came in and just different ideologies, just different understandings, right? It's funny when you come in, you know you're good and you believe in yourself, but maybe the coaches don't receive it and give you the same type of coaching you need. But I think we all can understand there's good coaches out there and there's coaches that just get the job and expect you to go out there and play, right? And so it was one of those things that I just wasn't getting coached anymore. I'm seeing myself drop on the depth chart. I'm seeing guys come in and get over me. I started my first game against VA. I started my first game as a freshman, and then after that, just kind of saw myself kind of get phased out. And so I'm sitting there after doing bear calls one day because they were really trying to get me out of there, and I was just like, this is crazy. And luckily, well, for me, Reggie Bush just went through the sanctions where he had to give his Heisman back, and then SC got in trouble for, I think, 2-3 years, and so I was able to leave with no repercussions. And so
you didn't have to sit a year out?
No, I didn't have to sit a year out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I was blessed. And Facebook, talking to coaches talking to me. Tennessee came up, and it was Tennessee or Kent State, and I was like, well, I'm not going to SC and dropping in competition. I'm gonna go to Tennessee, get better. And it's funny, I'll never forget. Once I didn't tell the coaches anything until SC coach found out when I was in kind of my connection to go to Knoxville. And he was like, we just came from there. You're not going to be anything. You're not going to be shit. Those guys are way better than you. You chose the wrong decision. Just really kind of, shitted on me, right? And I was just like, all right. And so that always stayed with me. You're all right. It is one of those things I think it kind of translates to the NFL, right? But speaking about college, you have to go where you're going to get, one, you're going to play, right? I mean, we all want that, right? We all want to go somewhere we know we're going to play. And we want to go somewhere where the coach is good and the coach is going to give you those nuggets to get to the next level, right? Because I think we all know when we go to college, everybody in that team knows they're going to the NFL, right? It's like you can't tell anybody anything.
No, for sure.
That's
what I was telling Will. I was going to the league, no doubt.
Yep.
You guys might not, but I'm going to the league.
It's me.
And you almost have to have that naive mentality, but confidence, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to work. Anyway. So I went there, got great coaching, and it was a success for me. I tell people it was a risk that I took, but it worked out really well for me.
You touched on it briefly, but can you maybe elaborate a little bit about especially for some of the kids, they don't realize that back in the day in transferring, there was kind of a negative connotation to it, you know, like tone to it.
Yep.
And, you know, you definitely have to go through the process of keeping your confidence and building it back up. And that's also something that can transition into the real world.
Yeah.
How did you go about, you know, staying confident, believing in yourself so you could go to a place like Tennessee and produce?
Yeah, you know, it's SEC, right? Big boy ball. To be honest with you, I was just by myself when I just had to make a decision. Either I'm going to go here, give it my all, and put myself where I need to be after and prove these people wrong, or I'm going to prove them right, you know, and proving them right wasn't an option for me. So luckily, there was a gentleman I went to high school, Michael Rivera, who was there, so I knew somebody, so that made it a little easier. But yeah, it was just a mindset like, look, it's not over for me. It can't be over. And I just got to win. I got to ball. And I told myself, if I can make it here, be successful here in the SEC, then I can go to the league. And so it's just every day, just grinding, sacrificing. And I mean, we'll talk about it later, but I think that's one thing that kind of, when we retire, throws us off, because our whole youth and life is sitting there competing and being with people that are trying to get better every day. And then you come out here after retirement, after, say, a career, and you retire, you're amongst everybody. And it's like mediocrity is like, okay, you know, it's like just mind-boggling, you know. And
I think one part of that we don't really talk too much about is the fact that, especially myself, I find myself a lot of times, I'm already naturally very tribal. Football is very tribal. So I'm always trying to do something for other people. I feel like I perform better for other people, sometimes even more than myself, because that's what we learn to do. We sacrifice our bodies. We sacrifice our time, our minds. You're enveloped in this world where, you know, you really feel like you're someone's brother that's literally not your, you know, you're not the same parents, but your mom is my mom and my dad is yours. You know what I'm saying? So, but we don't talk about that part of it. And more lately, I've been noticing that the game of life is more like tennis. So you on that court, but it's just you, baby. You might have a team with you, but they're on the sidelines talking to you. You know what I'm saying? They're not within the game. So
I mean, it's real because, you know, like, in your point, it's almost like it's all a team. And then when somebody gets hurt, right, you're in practice, you're in the game, or you're in practice, what do they do? They move the ball up 5 yards, you're back there doing your thing. You're just like, damn, everybody's on the
kind
team.
Kind of looking back a little bit, like, is this guy okay?
You're like, no way, bro. You know what I mean? It's
That's
like,
real.
and then, you know, when you're injured, you guys know, like, it's a lonely feeling. I had a Liz Frank injury and stuff like that. You're just like, people walking by, it's crazy. But
There's like
you're right.
2 players on the team that if they go down, the practice might stop for 5 minutes. So you're like
Everybody else is like, oh, he's fine, moving forward. Trainers get him. It's just like, man, all right, coach, you know, but it's next man up, you know.
So that makes me. I have 2 questions. The first one, both of y'all can answer both. But the first one is, Ra, you know, you went through some position changes, and that transition. How did you deal with making that work and ultimately keeping your confidence up, still being able to perform at peak performance and make it to the league?
So it was interesting because when I got to UVA my first year, like 4 or 5 of our coaches got head coaching jobs somewhere else. And my head coach was still there, but I was like, shit, I'm gonna do the Malik. That's what I'm gonna call it for the sake of this show. I wanna go transfer. I'm talking to Dwayne Jarrett. He's like, bro, come out to SC. I'm talking to, you know, all my friends in different places, and they're telling me to go to these different places, and I'm like, bro, if I leave, I don't want to sit out a year and all this stuff, and I have to be loyal. I think back then everybody played on like pride and loyalty. So I was like, screw it. One of the coaches called me and was like, I heard you're gonna transfer. If I were you, you should just stay, blah, blah, blah. It's gonna work out for you because you can play at either side of the ball, and that gives you leverage. So I was like, all right. I ended up staying, and yeah, dude, I kind of just had to take the small wins. Every time I had success in either position or either play, I would just really celebrate those moments because I was still trying to hold on to that little boy and just have fun with the game. And I think that, you know, that was the most important part throughout my entire career, was that I didn't even realize this was going to make me money until it was like super late. I was too busy.
Football?
I was too busy like in the moment having fun. So when the coach told me, "Oh, play defense," I'm like, "Oh, I can make people fumble. Oh, I can get interceptions. Oh, I could." So it just became like it was a video game for me. And then, you know, it was like shit. I get invited to the combine. I'm like, oh shit. Oh shit.
It's real.
It's almost everything's for the love of the game until you realize maybe your junior year or whatever, like, oh, snaps, like, because you see guys making the money. I don't know about you guys, but when I was in college, freshman year, sophomore year, I wasn't watching the NFL. I wasn't seeing the draft. I wasn't worried about what guys were getting paid. It just wasn't me. I didn't care. You know, I'm living life, right? College life. Until my senior year, I'm like, oh wow, okay. You know, see guys that I know get drafted to the Gotcha Messi, Jarrell Cases of the world, right? I'm just like, wow, okay, cool. Damn, he got first. That's a lot of money. Cool. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
What was your question, Will? My bad.
No, that was good. That was good. The next was facing opposition or adversity in regards to injury. You know, when you go through this process, you know, when I talk to people, being an athlete is being part warrior, part human.
Mm-hmm.
But no one talks about the human aspect of being an athlete, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when an injury happens, that humanizes you.
Mm-hmm.
That takes away and strips that warrior part of you away.
Mm-hmm.
How did you all deal with that and transition back to being part warrior, part human after the injury?
I mean, I'll start. I guess it's tough, right? I mean, you know, I had a lot of nicks and bruises when I was playing. It wasn't nothing too detrimental for me to keep me out. I mean, in college, I had a super bad knee sprain, but was able to fight through it in camp and made the first game of the season. But my Liz Frank situation, you know, I tell the story that I had a Liz Frank injury first game of the season, my first year at the Eagles, and it's probably my 7th or 8th year.
What is a Liz Frank injury?
So a Liz Frank injury is when the bone in your midfoot, imagine this is your big toe and all your bones, your toes, a bone with your bone in your midfoot that keeps the big toe and all the other toes together. So I tore that, and essentially I had to wait a week to get surgery. And what happened was, like, these were kind of moving away from the big toe, so like it was all like sliding away because there was nothing to keep them together.
Keystone.
Huh?
The keystone of the foot.
Yes, the keystone. I didn't know. I was like, what is? So then, fun fact: Liz Frank was a guy back in the day who rode horses. French surgeon, right? And was he the one that got off the horse and messed his foot up?
He may have fixed it.
He probably fixed it. So what I know is the guy got off his horse and like messed his foot up, and so then surgeries back then you have to like peel the foot like all the way back and like to the like it's sick. Now it's easier, right? Thank God. But anyway, I had a Liz Frank injury, and I remember, never forget, I'm walking down the hall and the D coordinator's coming up, and like I'm just looking for like some sort of like, you got this, man. You're gonna be good. Thank you for giving us everything, right? And like literally just walked right by me, and I was just like, okay. You know, you talk about humanizing and stuff like that. You know, we sit here and, you know, we consider ourselves gladiators, warriors, you know, mercenaries for hire, right? Like, we really go out there and can care less about your safety or mine. It's like, I just got to win, you know? Of course, we want to be healthy, but yeah, to be watching other people do what you do or seeing them bring other people in, and you still have this grandiose mindset of yourself. It was very humbling. It took me a while to really, like, be okay with myself, and then, but it's funny, I tell people too, like, you know, when you're in the league and you get hurt, it's an interesting mindset. I understand why people call athletes crazy, because I got hurt and I tried my best to come back as fast as I can to do the same exact thing that hurt me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't really think about that. These guys are tearing ACLs. Hell, Alex Smith had his leg facing the other way and fought back to come back to do the exact same thing. When I played against him, I was like, I don't care what he hurt. Like, I'm a get him. You know what I mean? So
He almost
it's
lost his leg too.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Because I know the surgeon that helped treat him. He almost, like, they sent him to the military hospital.
Yeah.
He had like almost 30 surgeries on that leg.
Yeah, I saw his TED Talk. It was gruesome, but like the mindset you have to go through that, feel the pain, do the surgeries, and not say, you know what, fuck this, I'm out. It's like, nah, I'm not done.
And when he came back and played, I mean, you could tell.
Yeah.
Like, it was like,
Yeah.
if somebody like you hit, like, to take that risk. I mean, but he loved the game. That was cool about it.
It's funny. I didn't know exactly what he did, and I hurt my Liz Frank. We came back the same year, and he got comeback player of the year, and I was so pissed. I was like, what the heck? And then I watched the documentary. I was like, oh, he deserved it. You know what I mean? I didn't realize everything he went through.
And I think it's just the addiction to, like, at some point we got to talk about, like, healthy addictions as well. I think being able to work and produce and make a lot of money, that can be very addictive. I don't know if it's, you know, how healthy it can be if you're willing to risk your life for it. But that sometimes just in itself makes me want to just sit down and unpack this whole thing, because life is the most precious thing anyone could ever offer, and yet we treated in such a way. It's interesting. That's why, like, sometimes I remember when I first got to Virginia and I met those old, rich Virginian people, and they're like, when you're an athlete, they're like, oh my God, like, why would you do that? You know, like, you could make so much money doing this.
You're talking about the other students, right?
Other students, their parents, their grandparents. One, you know, an older lady said to me one day, and she was half senile, so I didn't take it. I didn't take it too personally, but she was like, "You guys are just entertainment for us." And in that moment, that's when I really learned not to take anything personally, because you know it's very different where I'm from. You say that, you know. So I was like, you know what? Okay, cool. And but that's the perspective. Alex Smith's legends.
So I have a question for both of you. Starting with going to college, but then also touching on the NFL. Was there ever a time when you were going to college, like when you were first about to go, where there was like a little doubt in the back of your mind, like how good are these other guys that I'm about to go see? And then how long did it take you to realize, I got this? And then secondarily, was there ever a time in the NFL where you realize, like, man, some of these dudes are just freaking better than me?
When I got to college, dude, I felt like I was the man already.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, but this one guy humbled the hell out of me, man. It was two things that humbled the hell out of me. First thing was, we had an amazing linebacker corps in the first year. We had like Ahmad Brooks, Kyle Parham, you know, we had Blackstock just left. We just had like a whole group of these killers. And Clint Simpsons, and even, you know, Chris Long even started off as an outside backer, but they put his hand in the dirt. So like, yo, dude, I remember I'm like, this dude Kai, he looks like a Greek god. He's like, he's like 6'4", 255, 5% body fat. I'm like, bro, how are you 6'4", trying to stay under 265, fighting with 5% body fat? And I'm like, yo, this doesn't make sense. But I'm like, you know what? If I smack him, everybody gonna respect me. Like, everybody gonna be like, ooh. So I get all my piss and vinegar ready, and I go to block him on a lead block, and he looks like a fucking center block. Dude. It's like, he's approaching me, and the only thing he does is he fiesta steps me. He just goes, and my ass just fly right past him. And I was so embarrassed. Everybody at practice like, oh! I was like, you know what? Okay. I guess I'm not as good as I thought. Because what the hell is the last move I thought somebody would try? I'm big still. I'm like,
he's gonna take me on.
Yeah, I'm like, he's gonna try to hit me. Didn't happen.
He said it. For me, it's funny. I remember I was, I guess when I got to SC, like you know, when you're in high school, you're a big man on campus, right? I mean, you took our, you know, you see the guys in street clothes, you're not really thinking like, oh, whatever, I'm not worried about these guys. And then you get a locker room, and then you get on the field, and you're like, damn, this is Brian Cushing, this is Taylor Mays, this is Everson Griffin, Clay Matthews, right? I'm just like, damn,
they're big.
These guys are huge, you know, even the running back and moving, you know, Allen Bradford. So for me, I was just like, damn. And then, so it was, and to be honest with you, to see the old lineman, it's one of those things, and you know, and this happened at the beginning of my career, and then at the end, that's how I knew I was done. A lineman gets a hold of you, and you just like, oh shit, let me go. You're like, trying to get off, you can't do nothing. He just, boom, it's like, oh my God. And so I was like, all right, I knew I had to get in the locker room and get right. So I knew first day of OTAs and camps in college, like it was like, all right, this is real. These boys are real. So, yeah.
Yo, dude, that's funny because I remember my second year we were playing Pitt. On offense, I just felt like I'm a big back, so like I know I'm rare, I know I'm faster than you think or whatever, and all that stuff, right? So I didn't really care. But on defense, I'm playing linebacker and I'm the mic. Like somehow I get into the mic position because there was a bunch of moving around. And I look around, these linemen, they like 6'7", 360, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, yo, how come I never noticed how big my linemen are? Like, like, yo, these dudes are towers. So it's interesting.
Sorry, I was gonna say, just to comment on that. I don't know about you, but though the best O lineman that I ever on our team, the 6'7" guys, they were good, but they always had a 6'3" guy that was just
a dog,
and he was the best for whatever reason, because he can get under you way easier, and and he's always tough, and he's just
low man wins.
Low man wins. I mean, you know, we played in the days where you had the King Dunlaps, you're looking up like, holy shit, 6'7", 6'8", you know, it's like, man, now these guys are 5'8", 5'9", 6 foot, right? And you, like you said, to get under those pads and move you. So It got to a little hard towards from being 6'3".
I like a short center though. It's something about a short center that really warms my heart. I don't know
Our
what
center
it
at UNLV, Joe Hawley, played like 10 years, and he was the guy that came in at like 6'1", the all-state guy, like,
Nice.
you know,
Probably
but
a
he was
wrestler.
Probably a
under
wrestler.
recruited, and then all the other guys were like 6'6", but didn't
Yep.
have as much like accolades,
Mhm.
and the coaches were all on these guys, and he came in, started, I think, halfway through his freshman year, never let it go, just balled center,
Nice.
went to the league. I think he played for the Falcons and Bucks.
Nice. What was his name?
Joe Hawley.
Joe Howard.
Honestly, dude, if I didn't care about scoring touchdowns, I would have just figured out how to be 300 pounds and been a pulling center, like the dude Saturday from the Colts.
I want to be a DN.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Put my hand in the ground and just go get the quarterback
Yeah.
and not worry about anything else. That's
I agree with you because that's my thing. Being offensive guys, I'm just like, I don't know how you guys, because somebody has to give you the ball for you to be seen and be
Yeah,
successful.
yeah.
Like me, I can put my hand in dirt and go make my own money, go make my own bread.
I
Right?
played corner, so that was
Oh,
like,
so you could do the same
Yeah.
thing. Nice.
I signed as a safety, and a week into it, they moved me to corner. So
Nice.
that was my little thing with speed. At the Nike camp, I ran a 4.40, 4.41, and then 3.87
Nice.
shuttle. So I was fast. That was my thing until so the first day I got at UNLV, that's when I kind of got my confidence. I was a little bit like, I wonder how these guys are going to be. And one day I was like, all right, I got this.
Mhm.
But my awakening moment was Eric Wright at USC.
Mhm.
He had just transferred. Him and Rocky Hines transferred to UNLV, and I think I'm a little older than you, so I think I don't know. But Eric had started against Oklahoma as a freshman in the national championship game. Had an interception, and for whatever reason, some things went wrong, and he got kicked out or something. He had to transferred in, and he ended up playing 7 years in the league. Ran like a 4.3 something at the combine. But we were doing this summer drill where it was like a figure eight, and it was like we had like all these teams of 10, and everybody, you match them up, and everybody gets a point, whatever. So I'm facing Eric's team. We're the fast guys. I'm gonna go against Eric, and I'm like, all right, I got this. And they sit you up like 6 yards apart, and they go, and he was trying to catch me.
Mhm.
I swear to God, 4 steps into go, the guy touched my damn back. I was like, how
Yeah.
did that happen?
Yeah, I know exactly what drill you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, this has been great. I think now we want to transition into hearing what it was like when the whistle stopped blowing, the lights went off on the field, and you all transitioned to life after sport.
So when did the whistle stop blowing? How old were you? Where'd you end up moving? What'd you end up doing like right away? Were you depressed? Kind of that kind of feel.
Yeah, give us the real, because I mean,
Okay.
that's what the guys and girls need to hear.
You go first. Yeah.
How old was I? I was 32. I had done 10 years. The reason why I retired was a host of few things. The body was just breaking down. I couldn't. I remember one day after a game, I tried to get out of bed and fell out of bed because my knee. I can barely bend it 45 degrees. I can barely move it. And I remember I was in Cleveland, and it took me 2 weeks to tell the coaches hey. Build up the courage and tell the coach hey, I don't think I'm playing well right now, and I think I need to sit out a few weeks to get my knee back together because I'm not feeling good about it right now. I'm only hurting this. And he was like, no, you're doing great. And I was like, fuck, okay. And then wasn't practicing for the week, just played Sunday. So I'm like, all right, cool, go play. Had a terrible game again, and they were like, Malik, we think you're playing bad. You're not playing good. I'm like, I told you that. And I was like, it took a lot for me to build my courage up to even accept that I'm not doing well. And have to tell you guys, and they were like, yeah, we're probably gonna sit you out this week. And then this was COVID. This was 2020, going into 2021, and 4 guys went down with COVID, and that's after they benched me. And he was like, hey, we need you to play. And I was just looking at him just cursing him out in my head. I was like, you piece of shit. I just told you. Now you're beefing me up. But that's when I knew. You asked when did I know they didn't care? That's when I knew. I was like, yeah, I'm just a commodity to them, right?
A warm body.
I'm out of here. Yeah, and I was like, yeah, I can't. And I have a daughter who was 4 or 5 at the time. I was like, I need to go home, man. I need to raise my kid. And so, for me, it was that I had my Kobe year. I knew it was going to be over. I was like, yeah, I'm done. And so when I retired, it was tough. I told people I was living like Pepe Le Pew, chasing tail, on the beaches, living life to the fullest, right? And then one day I just sat there and I was like, man, what's life about, right? We always in the league, and we have every summer they bring guys in saying, don't be a negative statistic. Don't, guys go broke this far in retirement. Guys do this, domestic assaults, blah, blah, blah. Everything under the sun. So that's all on my head. Okay, who am I going to be now? Because the team stopped picking up. My agent's not calling me anymore, not picking up. Everybody's moved on. Now it's just me. So, and you talked about depression, man. Depression definitely set in. I don't think it matters how much money you have. It doesn't matter how long you played. I think it does matter if you chose to stop or if you were made to stop. But other than that, depression is still going to be there, right? Because you're like, it's almost like Booby Miles. Like, all you know is football. You know what I mean? Like, I am football. I don't know anything else in football, right? You know, for me, going every summer, I would refuse to tell people that I was a football player when I played. I was like, I'm a doctor. You know, I'm a bouncer. You know, they're like, you're not a doctor. I'm like, oh, I can't be a doctor? Damn, you know? But I really wish I would have owned it a lot more, right? Because now that I'm done, it's almost like you tell me, like, I'm not a football player anymore. So then, like, damn, did you ever play football? You know what I mean? It's interesting. But, yeah, it's a tough transition to be able to sit there, like I said, see other people do what you do, see people make money, see people be successful, and you're not hating on them. You know, it's just like, dang, I did that at a high level. I can still do that, but you know you can't. Like, if you're being honest with yourself. So it was a tough transition. It was a tough transition. It took me like a year and a half, 2 years to really get through it and be okay with just being myself and not being a football player, just being a guy.
Rashaun?
For me, transition was kind of, I think, you know what, maybe I was in denial at first, to be honest, because I got injured in Oakland, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to stay in LA, I'm going to stay in California, I'm going to work out. I figured out there was a doctor that's cool with the team in LA, so I was like, I'm going to just do my rehab there. And then when I moved to LA, you know, it was delayed. I was working out. I had, you know, a lot of contacts in the music industry, and, you know, it still felt like college. That's how I felt like the NFL was. It was like college, where, you know, I'm playing football. I love this. It's fun. I'm not cutting open no hearts, you know what I'm saying? I'm not repairing no knees. Like, shit, that might make me nervous. You know?
I would say, do you even get nervous for games?
I did get nervous for games. Absolutely. I think that was, you know, the funny thing, two things that happen with me in football that doesn't happen outside. I'll get nervous, and it makes me, I'll tear up. Football, bro. Like, for some reason, I see like a movie, and it's like these guys work their tails off, they lose a game or something, and for some reason, I'll have that one tear drop, and I'm like, oh damn, like I thought this was done. But yeah, so for me, I didn't understand that the transition was happening. The next year came, I hit my agent up, and I'm like, yo, what's up? Things are really slow. What am I doing? He's like, yo, you want to go play in Canada? You want to go play arena? I'm like, wait, what? He's like, yo, you're a big back, so you got to, like, all that, you know, being macho, you got to really work your speed. And I was like, all right, maybe. And then I was like, eventually I was like, you know what, I'm not doing it. It's either the league or it's nothing. And then that was a little bit of my ego, but I also was in the music industry at the time, and one of the artists I was working with was pretty popular. So at that time, I'm like, man, I'm seeing money, so it's whatever. And then eventually I realized, like, holy cow, I'm still working out like I'm about to play a game. Because that's what he said. He goes, bro, you about to go back to the league, or you on this music thing? Like, what's up? And I'm like, why he said that? He's like, bro, every time I see you, you working out, you doing 2 a days, you don't want to eat, you know, certain things, you don't want to drink with us. Like, we artists, you know.
Yeah, 2 different lifestyles.
2 different lifestyles.
And you gotta adapt, and, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I played college football and baseball, and it's like the hard thing was going from football to baseball and trying to get with the guys who had been there all year, like trying to fit in with them. It was difficult, but, you know.
Yeah, it's interesting, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I don't know if that answers the question.
No, it did.
But it's tough. And if I could say, it is tough, right? Because I think, like, people out there should, like, understand when a guy, like, is truly giving his all, and whether he chooses to be done or gets kicked out or whatever, you know, I don't think people give the player enough grace to be like, you know, just figure yourself out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we are men and stuff like that. It's like, get your shit together, right? Which I believe I subscribe in sometimes, but to understand that this person dedicated their life to something, right? Like, I love soccer, right? So I watch European, La Liga, all European, but I'm like, these guys truly dedicate their life to this, right? Like, it's not like you're just half-assing. It's not like it's just a hobby. Like, this is true dedication. And when somebody retires, it's almost like, well, he made all this money. He did it while he was young. He had the girls, right? Like, all the jealousy that other people have
comes out.
It's like, damn. Like, I'm like, yeah, I did, but I earned everything I was able to get. Now, like, help me understand who I am, what I'm able to do, like, what's out here. right? Because everything, like Rob Baez says, just been working out, eating this, going to sleep, wake up, work out, eat this, go to sleep, right? It's like just
Stay out of trouble.
And now, exactly, stay out of trouble. Don't be negative. Like, let's go.
And I think that point you mentioned, the 2 points, whether you choose it or whether it chooses for you, that's the most difficult thing, because when it chooses for you, you're still locked in. You're like, nobody's gonna take anything from me.
Yeah.
And I think, and another thing too you mentioned was like the jealousy. I remember, applying for work and trying to get jobs with certain, companies, and I might even work with the company, and the people are like, "Why are you even here? You play for the NFL. Shouldn't you be able to apply?" Or they do things behind the scenes that kind of like come for your job. So it's like, you're always a target. When you're working towards it, you're a target. When you get to it, you're more of a target. And then at the end of it, you're still being targeted because people are like, yo, you've lived such a great life by the time you were 25. And, my parents ain't do what you do. So they don't, I feel like some people don't want to admit it, but that's the energy that you get as an athlete. And maybe you guys could talk a little bit about that in your experience, because I would love to hear if I'm the only one that's experienced this or not.
Well, I mean, it's definitely, it's a blessing and a curse, right? Being an athlete, it opens up doors, but also it can bring scrutiny and bias, or just hatred, because people wish they had the experiences you had, and so, yeah, I mean, I've experienced the same type of disposition from people. And having to navigate things that maybe other people that were non-athletes didn't have to navigate. And so it's definitely something that being an athlete you have to be prepared for. That being an athlete doesn't prepare you for it, because no one tells you.
Right.
It's always your celebrity. You're a god or a goddess. But once you're done, now you're behind the 8 ball. You didn't have that opportunity to do the internship. You didn't have that opportunity to network as much as someone that just was a professional student. They was in sorority or fraternity or club sports. So once you're done, it's like now they're the king and queens of the real world. And so that's something people don't talk about.
Yeah, it's true.
I think I had it in 2 parts. One with the NFL father, growing up in Santa Barbara, a lot of jealousy, especially with succeeding in both sports. I mean, I took vacations, came back, bricks thrown through my car window.
Oh, wow.
My car was egged multiple times. We play on the rivals field, so I went and practice there. The linebacker for the rival team tried to go on the field and tried to fight me.
Wow.
It was like a lot of jealousy there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then transitioning to college, unlike you guys, I walk around. People are like, "Wait, you played football? You play football?" They're like, still to this day with my wife, people will be like, "Oh, do you play college sports to her?" And they don't even look. They're like, "There's no way that guy played." So it was definitely, for me, it was just felt like college was like a bit like always having to prove myself. Like even when I made big plays, then it was like, you got to prove yourself again, prove yourself again, prove yourself again.
Yeah.
So it was fine. I mean, I enjoyed it, but I was the guy. I think you were talking earlier. This is back to high school, the guy that was 6'2", 215. This is my boy Matt Houston. If he watches, he'll be on the podcast. He's with Miami Heat, strength coach. He went to Washington.
Nice.
But he was 6'2", 215, junior, Greek god. Looked like a god. And they pulled me and him out of class in high school to come see the coaches, and you could just see they're shaking my hand and already looking at Matt. And I'm like, what? The coach just told me after the game that all we did was focus on how to stop you, but that don't matter.
Yeah. It's real.
But it was fun. I mean, it's all.
I mean, it happens. I remember I made the Pro Bowl, and they were like, I was like, I'm ready to go. Of course I didn't start it or whatever. It got in third quarter, and they're like choosing, Howard, you go. Person, you go. I'm just like, okay. I made it too. They're like, oh yeah, you're good. You stay here. I'm like, damn. You know what I mean? So it happens everywhere. I just think it's no matter how good you think you are or what status you have, that's what I really, there's always not somebody bigger, but in your case, but a bigger dog. You know what I mean? And I think as guys, we understand as an athlete, right? To kind of give us that drive, okay, no matter height, size, anything, you're not you might be bigger than me, but I'm still a Billy badass.
I'm
you know
gonna figure
what I
out a
mean?
way
Exactly.
to beat you.
Exactly.
You know, that's my mindset.
Exactly.
If you're bigger, I'll figure out a way.
Mm-hmm.
I just know you're not gonna stop me.
You're not gonna stop me, and I'm gonna be more successful. I think D lineman, right? Like, I think the name of the game is if I put you on your back more than you get me, then I win, right? So it's like, all right, cool, and that's the game. Then fuck it, let's go. You know, and if I can get in your head enough to make you forget a play or two, then like, perfect. You go the wrong way, I make a tackle for loss. Like, you know what I mean? I'm winning. So it's an interesting game.
Sure. I don't want to backtrack, but this was one of my second questions. When you face that transition and you face those obstacles or those trials or tribulations, what resources or people did you tap into to get you back on the path to success?
For me, it was just honestly, I just started talking to my football friends again. Because I think, you know what, to be honest, you isolate yourself from
100%.
even your friends in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Dang, that's okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did that, and then one day I was just calling just to one of my friends to complain, and he like, bro, you 6'2", 240, look good, you played in the league, shut up. This is a consequence of being that guy. And it was real harsh at first, with at least the delivery, but he was also pumping me up.
Mm-hmm.
And with the way he did that, I was like, oh snap, this is like the coach telling me I'm the man again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what kind of just gave me a little bit more motivation to just reach out to more guys and just talk to different people and just surround myself with the people that I loved and the people that believe in me and revisit those schools that I, were a part of. Go back to UVA, go back to my high school, go back to my elementary school, and really just work on that foundation of who I was at the time and who I wanted to be and how I was going to get there. And I also just felt like I had to have some closure with the league, or I wasn't going to be able to really accept my new life. So,
You guys are a little younger than me, but I really feel like for me, the full closure really came when I didn't know anybody that was playing in the league anymore.
Yeah.
When I literally everybody I knew that was playing that I played with, once they were all out of the league, then I would it was like a closed book for me. I was like, okay, something gave me a little bit made me feel better. I don't know why.
I hear you, man. It's like that. 'Cause you're like, all right, I know him. Like, all right, there's nobody there. Okay, cool. Like,
just the young bucks.
It's the young bucks, right? Like, all right, he can have it. We're good. I outlasted, But no, to Ross Bay, you definitely go in isolation, and it's, I don't think I've meant to necessarily, but you have to come to terms with yourself, who you are, what you're doing, and understand, like you said, you're not the big dog anymore, right? People, you go from being able to make mistakes and people, it's okay, to now, like, any mistake you make is detrimental to your career, your life, or whatever you want to do, right? And so there's no more holding your hand. There's no more people trying to help you and baby you just because you are in the league or anything. And so it took me a while. I had my mom, and I think the one thing I realized is, like, I had friends that stopped before me. All my friends, like, I outlasted my friends in the league. And I sat down there, I was like, damn, like, not upset or bitching, but I'm just like, for them to go through it and know what I'm going through, to not have the support, I was like, man. Now, granted, maybe I'm reaching for something that that they didn't have, or that they didn't know they can give, or they just didn't know I needed, right? And so for me, but I was like, dang, to have people go through stuff. And so I pulled on them some, right, asking questions, called on them and stuff, went to go chill with them. But yeah, it took me about 1.5 years just to really be cool and understand that football isn't my identity. Like, I'm a son, I'm a father, I'm a brother, you know what I mean? I'm an uncle. So really just sticking on all those, and then going to business school and working on just trying to get that next thing that's gonna give me that praise, and that, I play a lot of FIFA, so it's like, get that, that little dopamine rush when you score a goal or something. I get my daughter, she was doing ice skating, so in her competition, I'm like, it's just cool to see it. So yeah,
to be
just
honest,
going to other people.
I envy you, like O linemen and D linemen, because I feel like when you guys retire, it's like, all right, you guys retired, it's cool. Nobody throwing nothing at you to see how you react. Nobody like, yo, come catch the play. Let's play catch. Mm-hmm. Let's play 7-on-7. I don't hear nobody ask like an O lineman or D lineman to come play 7-on-7. And for me, unfortunately, I'm like, shit, all right. And now I'm out there.
They want to see what they got against the NFL guy.
And I'm crushing, bro. Last time I played, bro, I threw 3 touchdowns, caught 2 interceptions. They was like, yo, I thought you haven't played football in years. I was like, I haven't, but I'm in the gym.
Hey, I know a guy that's starting a beach league if you want to play, man.
Yeah, no, I gotta be done with that, yo. I really realized like at some point you have to stop playing because you're gonna get hurt.
Yeah, it's not like basketball where you can just pick the shit up and you're out there like.
Even basketball, you're gonna get hurt. In
Yeah.
fact, more guys get hurt playing basketball than playing football, and I like to play both. I still like to play soccer on Sundays. I'm like, you know what? I need to just switch my whole thing to like golf and chess.
I'm speed walking with the dogs.
I was at Pebble Beach on Wednesday.
Golf
Nice.
and chess.
Yes.
Nice. You see those back, I'm like, I got some back. I'm like, whew. And I got 9 holes in me. 9 holes and a few BLs, and I'm.
You gotta just not plant the foot. I got a slip disc in my lower back.
Do you?
So I'm always falling out because it's like I can't.
I'm like,
You know.
shit. Get another ball. Again.
So I have a question, and I'll kind of explain what I'm asking. Do you wish, or did you not care, or maybe you did do it? Did you try to do any sort of transitioning while in the league? And why I ask that is one thing my dad did in the NFL, and he was pretty successful afterwards. Which he was obsessed with it, but he did take some time to, what's the word I'm looking for? He took some time to
Educate.
not educate, but to find the people that could help him later in life. And like, let's say, in Houston, he knows the billionaires in the box, and he's with his son. He'll go and grab his son and bring him down to the locker room.
Nice.
Just to keep that connection,
Nice.
make that connection.
Nice.
And I feel like a lot of people are so focused on the game that they're not thinking that way. My dad is one of the only ones that was, so it's like, I was wondering if you guys were thinking at all about that, or was it all football? And it doesn't have to be in that exact way.
Yeah.
Man, I thought you play football well enough that the opportunities come to you, and you are. I mean, maybe for Malik it was different because he got the big contract, so you get a little bit more peace of mind. Where I think maybe you might be able to do that a little bit more. But as a guy like me who was supposed to go in the 3rd or 4th and didn't get drafted and had to fight on the team, it was like, bro, like my life was football. Because if it wasn't, then the coaches was also like, how are you doing this? And you got a 3-year contract. You're too busy focused on this. And they'll use that to not give you the contract. But so you're distracted. So that's why it's a caveat in sports. It's like, you almost have to be like 007 or something. You know what I'm saying?
Incognito.
Yeah. Which is why I think sometimes people prefer to be that way now. Because I'm like, I learned that later in my career where like, I don't even want you to know what I'm doing. If you know what I'm doing, you're going to use it as an excuse and then you're going to cut or trade me or whatever it might be. So
I think it's a different day and age, right? When we played, there was no podcast, right? There was no fashion. We weren't doing anything but getting ready for the next season, right? And like he said, I remember I got my first deal, and I went to go get, I think it was a Ghibli, forget the name of the brand, but a Ghibli car, right? And I was like, I want that. And my agent was like, look, man, these people are watching you. They're giving you money. They want to see what you're doing with their money. Their money? What the hell? You paid me, right? But it's like, you still got to, like Ross said, you still got to be able to live like that. You got to play that game, right? And so, and even when I got my 2nd, 3rd deal, it's like, I would just drive my Ford F-150 and leave my G-Wagon and S-Class at home, right? I'm like, nah, you're going to think I'm doing well with your money, right? And so back to your point, yeah, when I was playing, I didn't think there was anything else. I wasn't preparing myself for anything else, The NFL just started doing things where they would send guys to go do business classes, go do internships places. I was like, for what? You know what I mean? I think, as you guys, when you're playing, you're not thinking about the end, because I think if you think about getting hurt, you think about the end, then that shit's gonna happen, right? And it's just like, nah, I'm not done until it's like, bam. Like,
it's more like, I feel like you think the opportunity is going to be there too when you're done, and you realize that like a lot of those doors close, as soon as you're done, because you're not offering them anything.
But it's surreal though, because like every year you're seeing guys go through the shit, right? It's like
it's not gonna happen to me.
It's not gonna happen to me. Like, damn, why is he upset, man? He getting paid all this money, gets good, and then you get to the point where like, now you're yelling at the GM, and like, now you understand like, it's not always sweet out here, man. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it's always somebody's turn, man.
Plus, it's a business. Like college, yes, we all know coach have their favorites, all that stuff, but it is supposed to be best player.
Yeah.
In the NFL, if your contract, it could be all about the money. Like, we need to bring in this second back as a rookie because we need him on a rookie scale. So it doesn't matter. You have to take 1.1. We can pay him 400.
Yep.
We can't even pay you. We're not even allowed to pay you 400.
Yep.
So you have to go, even though you're better, because this guy is there.
Or even vice versa. When I was in my third year in Jacksonville, I signed a big contract, 6 for 90, right? Second year made Pro Bowl. We went to the AFC Championship, just lost. Next year I come back, I don't start. I'm starting behind guys that are like free agents coming off the bench. And they didn't want to pay me. They were like, look, you can't get hurt. I still played, which was crazy. If I was smarter, I probably would have got hurt and then like make them keep me. But yeah, they were like, I wasn't starting, I wasn't playing. I would, and it was an interesting thing. To that point, it's like, but there's also a flip side where they're like, okay, you make too much money, or we see a future where we need to go get another quarterback, and we're gonna get rid of you and this guy, and so you guys just stay safe, play a little bit, but we don't want to be successful because we want to get a high draft pick, right? And so there's flip sides to it. So it's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, I remember I was playing with a one running back, and we were in a game against Seattle, and he was telling me like, bro, if you get it at this F, I need you to really go out, and I got you because I only need like 50 more yards, and let me get X, Y, and Z. And I was like, hell yeah, I got you. Who you need? What you need? And the coach benched him. Coach benched him. They didn't want to give him the money, and it was like, oh snap! Like, you benched him in like the second quarter, and he like the league's best running back.
And that's why I think people don't understand when you see the Micah Parsons on TV. I don't know what he was upset about or what he was, but when you see people talking about, everybody's like, oh, that's not your friend. Oh, you don't like the coach? Like, man, fuck that coach, man. I don't care about him, man. You know, excuse my language, you edit it out, but it's like, man, like people don't understand, like, because they'll go to work, have a job they don't like, but expect us to like everybody that walks around there and that we're a part of. It's like, if they only understood the hierarchy, the business of it, then they would understand why guys are just like so upset at times or just don't want to be places, right? It's almost like the fans expect you to want to stay there when it's not the same.
Because
it's not the same life.
You make this money, I don't make this money, you get to live this life. Yeah. But the psychological part of it is so much more valuable that you don't even. Yeah.
My last year in the NFL, like when I wasn't doing as well, I was waking up every day and just like laying in bed just like, fuck, do I still have a job? Like it's almost like imagine a movie, like you see the guy wake up, next thing he's in his car, it's in the same way. Then he's walking in the building the same way. Then he's sitting in his chair the same. I'm like, that was me just like, all right, what am I doing, man? Like, this is crazy, you know? So it's just the mindset of it all. It's really interesting, especially when you start to see yourself not being as good as you wanted to be, or start seeing things shift in the way people think about you.
That's why I think it's really important that let's talk about some solution-based things here, and how we could potentially move forward. Because I really dislike to throw all these things out and not offer some sort of like solution, right? And for me, I think it's really understand your worth early, understand where you want to go early, attack those dreams like full steam, and have a team around you. Because you're right, like you should. So many times I've seen guys who were cool with dudes for however long, and then they get to the league and now they got all new friends. And it's like, yeah, but now when you're going these down moments, those new friends don't know you like the friends that knew you. Or they're gone. Yeah. So it's like really focus on that core friend group of yours. Like I would say the LeBron model. You might not be able to pay for your friends to go to business school or whatever. I get that, but the payment is the time, the energy spent, and like just the camaraderie, right? Because once we're on the same page, and I know Will needs to call once a month for his spirit to be good, and I know Malik might need to work out with me twice a month just for his spirit to be good, and you might need to play golf with me every other month. I know once you learn how to pour into your brothers, people are more vulnerable. They'll open up to you. They'll tell you their problems, and like you guys can solve things together. And that's really what you want. You just want to be able to like achieve your goals and just live a happy life.
I agree with that. I think it's very much you look for that camaraderie, right? We come from a locker room, a space where you have everybody. You can talk to guys, right? I tell people it's interesting when you have a doctor, you'll talk to the NFL or a college trainer about stuff. When you have a trainer, you'll talk to the guy next to your locker. Hey man, I got this thing going on. Talk to me about it. Like, what do you do? Money. Hey man, I got some money. Girls, life, anything, right? You'll talk to your buddy about it. Then when you lose that, you're like, damn, But it's funny as we grow up, we want that, but then we have kids, right? We have wives, right? We have girlfriends. It's just like
the balance.
The time now just starts to get wider and wider, right? It's like, okay, I want to hang out with you guys, but you're like, damn, I'm tired, fam. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Or, hey, I want to do this during June, but like I got the kids spring break or summer break, and I need to go do this. And after that, it's just like, damn. So when do you make the time? You have to make the time, but I think we also have to understand like life is life, man. You know what I mean? It's hard to truly like keep that that connection, and hopefully people understand that we can make the time. You know, like I'm getting mad at my friends. I'm like, we should have happy hour every Friday. Let's talk our talk, you know. But it's like everybody has kids and newborns, wives. I'm single. I'm like, yeah, my girl ain't telling me nothing. You know what I mean? They're like, nah, it's not the same. You know what I mean?
I bet you, me and my boys talk about probably 10 to 15 trips before we actually get to one.
Yeah.
You know, but we talk through it. But then
something comes up.
Comes up, falls through, it ain't happened.
But it's funny because somebody's talking like, yeah, and he knows damn well he's like, I'm not gonna be able to do that.
It's always
But
the
it's
single,
nice to talk
the
about
single
it.
guy too, like with no kids. Like, you know, I just got back from Pebble and my boy's like, do you want to go to spring training this week? I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
what do you think? Do I want to be divorced?
Yeah. Hey, you want to go to Vegas? The pools are open. And it's like, you know what? I think I'm gonna sit this one out, man. Thank you for asking about it. Thank you for thinking about me, though.
There's little ways, though, I think that you could connect, right? Like I said, you know, I just gave a few different scenarios, but like one of my little brother taught me something. He got me back into playing PlayStation a couple years ago. He was like, yo, we don't talk as much anymore, so every whatever day it was at 6 p.m. your time, I'm gonna jump on the PlayStation and I'm gonna play Call of Duty Zombies. So if you like, if you got a PlayStation, buy the game. I'll send you the game if you don't have it. Literally.
Yep.
And I did that, and then now I can play Call of Duty Zombies now. I'm like killing stuff, bro. I'm like,
You're like backdoor. We got one coming to the right.
I can jump, I can slide. I know the perks.
Oh, I see you.
So that's one. Just
No,
different
that
ways.
is real though. I think it's calling guys. You know, you got to meet you where you're at, right? And if it's one of those things as we're driving, right? I think we all like to fancy ourselves being busy all the time, right? But you know, I found myself listening to the radio or doing stuff, and I'm like, you know what? I can listen to an audiobook. I can call 5 friends in this 50-minute drive, right? 10 minutes each, if that, right? And just say, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Let's you good? How's life? Blah blah blah. And all right, cool. You know, got your little fix. I think that's important, right? Because we all get in our own heads, and then it gets to a point where it's like, either you're going through something or they might be going through something. You're like, nah, I'm okay. Then time. So it is just talking and calling people and just staying in contact. Even when you don't think they're going to think they want it, or you see them going through something, like, hey, man, you good? Man, what's up, man? Thought about you. You know,
And not just when you need something.
Not when you just need something.
So, like my boy Matt Houston, the one that I played high school with, he's the strength coach for the Miami Heat. He's Bam's, Tyler Heroes,
Nice.
Kevin Love's, all their private strength coaches as well.
Nice.
In fact, if you watched Hero win the 3-point contest, the first person he
Thanks.
dabs up like right on because
Nice.
he's right on the court is Matt. But anyways, we were always real close. But where we really got real close is he was in China for 3 years with the number 1 team, the complete opposite time. And he had a daughter who was here, and he was like, we would talk like once a week, and I would call him, he'd call me, you know, weird hours, but we talk. He'd be like, am I doing the right thing? I'm like, you're doing the right thing, bro. You're with the number 1 team in China. This is going to work out. And he went from there, got with the Miami Heat G League team, and now he's up there with them. So I think it's like when I didn't need anything from him, he didn't need anything from me. It was just
be there.
Yeah, we were
That's
just
it.
there and like just kind of supporting each other, and I think that's kind of
That's true friendship.
what even grew our bond even stronger.
That's real. You were there when you guys needed each other.
And I think, I was just gonna add in, and that's what we're building at Athlete Forever as well. It's essentially a community of camaraderie, so guys and girls could tap into former teammates or new people that they want to network with and build friendships, businesses with, and just get to know people, as well as the resources there. And when we leave these institutions and these organizations, right, we're now in the free world.
Yep.
But it's not. We're used to structure.
Yep.
And so when we don't have that, it's hard to find what we need. And so that's why I've created Athlete Forever to help athletes when they're still in the game, but also when they transition out.
Yeah.
That's a great point, though, the structure, because that's the biggest thing I miss about football, that I didn't have to wake up and think about anything.
Yeah.
I just knew what I was going to do that day because
the food was there.
The food was there. I just had to work hard, go to my
were
workouts,
playing.
go to show, be on the field. But it wasn't like I was like, man, what am I going to do today to make some money? Or, like I was like, I had a plan.
Yeah.
So transitioning a little bit to off, after football, can you guys tell me, first of all, with any of us, but especially you guys in the league, you guys hadn't really failed at anything in 15 years. It's all been, I know we all have our mini failures, but it's been failures that are moving up.
Yeah.
So it's like a good failure. Can you tell me a little bit about, like, we spoke about the depression, but like, which we all have, a little bit about like what you thought you were going to do, what you tried to do, did you fail, and then what you're doing now?
I thought I was going to be like Robert Ory and just fall off the face of the earth and be happy, right? I was like, man, I'm done. I'm not doing anything. I'm chilling, you know. And then, like I said, living like Pepe Le Pew, taking trips, and you just realize, like, this is cool, but, like, this isn't life. You know what I mean? Like, I need to settle down and start doing something that's going to make me happy. And then you sit there and go down a rabbit hole. Well, what do I like to do? It's like, who am I? You know, like, okay, right? And so it's like, okay, cool. I need to sit here and go back to school, right? Do business, right? So I went to Stanford School of Business, a 6-week program. Did that, and I was like, cool. Like, I can speak the lingo. I can go back to school. I am smart enough to do this, right? It's almost like you got to like prove to yourself that, like, I can do this because I've talked myself out of situations like, no way. You know, and as I'm sitting here learning X's, O's, getting game plans, figuring guys out, it's like, I can't go back to school. But after I did that, I was like, okay, cool. And I was like, okay, well, I want to stay close enough to the game, but, like, I know I'm not coaching. I tried coaching. I was about to beat kids up. I'm like, these kids don't listen. I think I was just too close to the NFL because, you know, the way you talk to NFL guys and college kids, these kids aren't it. They don't respond well to something. So I was like, okay, try that. I was like, nah, I don't like that. And then I was like, you know what? I was sitting at home looking at the insurance plan from the NFL, and I was like, you know, trying to understand, trying to get my life together, understanding I'm not going back, so let me start getting my stuff together. And I was like, man, I don't understand any of this, right? I don't know what a co-play is. I don't know what an HMO is. I don't know what a PPO is. Hell, they asked me if I had a PCP, and I was like, I think so. I don't know what that is. And it's like, so to understand, you do like what a primary care physician is when you. But I don't think people understand is that we get that in the league, right? We get that in college. There's people waiting hand and foot on you to do everything. So then when you get out, you don't understand the connections that you need to have, the stuff that you need to have in place so if something does happen, right? And so I was like, you know what? I can sit here. I know doctors. I know people. I know plenty of PTs and stuff that can help me, but I understand that might not be the reality of a lot of my friends that played the game, right? And so I was like, well, what can I do to help these guys get the same type of access, connections that they had in the NFL training room to get the services and just get things taken care of, right? Because there's guys walking around here with torn ACLs for 6 months, right? Guys walking around here with heart complications. They're just trying to ice and stem or just trying to say, oh, it's okay. They don't need to change anything, right? Because they don't know. So I was like, well, let me create a health and wellness concierge company to be able to help these guys, like I said, get the same service and connections and access that they had in the NFL training room and retirement when everything is harder, when everybody's left you. We're here to help you, make appointments for you, get you connection with the primary care physician, put you with a specialist, ankle, knee, hip, right? Whatever you need to make sure that you're checking up on you, right? Giving you meal plans, whether you need a chef. I think there's a lot of things that guys want and need, but as being athletes that have been given everything, we don't necessarily have some of us don't have an action to go out there and do it, right? Because it's like, well, it's been given to me, it should be here. I don't know how much it costs, it's too much, it's this. Like, you come up with so many excuses, but me, what's big for me and what I want to be able to help guys do is, it's okay. It's interesting when, like, you can have the excuse of you didn't know when something happens, but what I want to do is give you that knowledge of what blood type you are. If you have something coming up, right? A heart murmur, you have some things that you need to worry about. Because once you know, now it's on you to make the decision, right? There's nobody else caring about you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Can you shout out the name of the company or
Oh, yes.
organization?
I should have done that, huh? It's called the Care League. We have a website. You go to careleague.org. Yeah, we'd love to have you guys come and check us out. But yeah, it's called the Care League.
That's kind of how Malik and I got connected through a healthcare platform. His platform, and you know, I have an endowment, the Rashaun Jackson Endowment Fund, and we focus on healthcare, financial literacy, and education. And you know, the one thing I teach within that is, you brought up failure. Failure is like, I've learned to understand that in life, and this is what football taught me. You got to become like the best friend to failure, so you can really like understand it and just get over it. It's that whole saying about pressure. Is either going to make a diamond or what you gonna do, right? Mm-hmm. So I failed. Yes, I failed today. I failed yesterday. I'm always trying to strive for perfection, and I want to be. I want to move Christ-like, as some would say. I want to move with certain intentions, and because I'm a man, I make mistakes, and what I learned is just to learn from those mistakes, and usually the failure brings on some sort of curiosity. I'm fortunate enough to like be super arrogant in some ways because I'm like, shit, I failed. I know I can fix this.
Yep.
And a million people could tell me.
That's why you like golf.
Yeah, dude.
That's it. Yeah.
Golf
You
is.
Yep.
Three chunks, and you're like, I know I can crush one 300. You're like, I knew it.
I knew it.
And now I'll do it every time. And then,
And then you get tired, or you have too many margaritas or something, and then shout to it else. But yeah, so I just try to embrace it, and I just try to learn from it because if I can figure out what the problem is, it could be fixed. And for me, that's worth living for.
And I think failure is so often thought of as, I know this is weird, as failure, and failure is succeeding.
Yeah,
It's because you
Taking
put yourself
chances.
and you put yourself in that spot to fail.
Yeah.
A lot of times, what you're doing is
It's
hard.
Dude,
Hard.
listen, most people don't even begin because they are afraid to fail.
Yeah.
Think about that. So if I want to build this iPad, you know how many people thought about this iPad but were scared to start it because they thought they would fail? And then the people who actually started it and they still held on to it just a little bit, and they got so far. They probably built it out. They probably sketched it. They probably paid for it, whatever. But they still failed because and they quit. The real failure is in the quitting part.
Yeah.
It's
Or
like,
not trying.
Yeah, you're not trying.
You know how many of my friends I've been on the phone with, and they're like, because I moved out here, I was gonna be an actor. Now 10 years, and I would look at myself as a failure. But also, I mean, I was on stuff. That's not fail. I was on SWAT and stuff. But my point is, I've been on the phone with so many friends. Oh, how's through the 10 years? How's acting? Yeah, I've been thinking about trying to act. I've thought about it. I'm like, bro, all you gotta do is go on Actors Access, get a headshot, self-submit, and like you can go get a commercial agent right now. 2 minutes. Very not that hard. And you know how many of my friends, after probably 20 of them, these hour-long how you do it conversations, some of them even like texting, oh, text me the Actors Access LA casting, da-da-da. I'm like, yeah, sign up, it's $100. Go get some headshots. Zero.
Wow.
Zero. Because they're too afraid to fail.
Yeah.
But that's like the actual failure is that, if that makes sense.
But that's why I like sports, right? Being able to go be myself, right? In the NFL, seeing a 6'7" guard or big 6'5", 340, you're just like, you can't go nowhere, right? You have that 1 second from when you break the huddle and you're standing here watching him come out to be like, fuck. And once hands in the dirt, it's like, hey, let's see, right? And I think to Roz's point, that arrogancy, like when he gets you in the dirt and you're on your back still talking like, hey, it doesn't matter, it's not gonna happen again. And
yeah, I'm
like,
already thinking about it. I'm like, okay, I know how you got me this
like,
time,
oh,
but
okay.
I know how I'm gonna get him next time.
It's like, it wasn't you, my foot twisted and I broke my ankle, but I'm gonna get you next time, it's like that, like, and that's why I love the sports, because it puts you in a position to where you have to come to terms with yourself. Can you do it or can't you do it? Will you give yourself the chance to do it?
Yeah.
So that's why I love sports. Yeah.
So kids, or whoever's watching this, try to fail every day.
Yeah.
And do that at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and I promise you do it enough, you'll get that one knockout of the park, and you'll be so happy that you did it. So.
Yeah, that's what they say, fail fast, right? Fail fast, but also understand how you failed, why you failed, and then go out there and do it again, right? We look at a bunch of people that have, made planes or really done the first thing the best, right? Like cars, horns, right? Imagine how many times they failed and then they got it right? So every failure is just a step closer to succeeding. So
people respect failure more than they do not trying.
I mean, look at Elon Musk putting things blowing up. They're like, we love it, do it again. It's like, holy smokes, But he's looking at it, lost money, failed, right? But it was a learning. He learned something. Now they're doing whatever they want, right? But yeah.
Well, I don't know if you have any more questions.
No, I think we touched on what we were trying to touch on. I just if you guys have any, you guys kind of did it already, but any last words of advice? I mean, you really just said it, but just we really appreciate your guys' time and your guys' wisdom. Not every day do you get some NFL guys kind of showing up to South LA here and giving us their time, and we appreciate it. And if you guys have anything else you want to say.
First off, just thanks for giving me your ears, eyes, your attention. Thanks for having me here. I would say be careful with those ears, eyes, and attention too, because what you feed yourself is what you become. So that goes from everything. So just kind of, figure out what it is you want to, pursue early, attack it fast, and just be mindful of what you feed yourself.
Yeah.
Until next time.
Last question. Do you guys still have one more game in you think?
I always feel like I do, but I only got one. I could probably give you a kickoff coverage and a punt. No, not even a punt return, because I don't want to chase nobody. So kickoff coverage and kickoff return.
I'm like, I don't know if you guys remember those old, like I think it was Bud Light or those beer commercials. They had like Leon. So I'm like, Leon, get in the game. He's like, nope. And I'm like, man, I'm like, man, 2 years ago, I'm like, Udonis Haslam. I'm just on the bench dressed up, just out there. Let's go, you got this. Like, get in the game. I'm like, no, I'm good.
But still got a statue though.
He's still killing it. What do you do, like 20 plus, right? So, but from my last words, I just want to say thank you for having me on the Transitional Podcast. Man, I think what you guys are doing is really special. Thank you for giving me and Ra, an opportunity to be able to kind of relive, the heyday, but also share our transition and where we are now. And so, I think that we talk about staying close and being able to allow guys to speak their truth and kind of shed the weight that they have. And I appreciate this platform for doing that. And everybody that's watching, thank you guys for watching us. Like, comment, subscribe. Right? I watch enough YouTube where I know they say that, right? So like, comment, subscribe. These guys are doing great things, and I'm just happy to be a part of it. Episode 0. So thank you guys. Oh, 01. Sorry.
He actually just hit on it. This was really mental health for us, and the doctor over here, he made our appointment, so we were able to purge.
Facts. So thank you guys.
Of course.
Will, anything?
No, I just again thank you all for coming and sharing your testimony and being candid and unfiltered. I think that's very important. And tap, if you're an athlete, former competing athlete, tap into the Care League. I know specifically for NFL at this point, but I'm sure he has some plans to diversify into other sports as well.
For sure. We're coming to a sport near you.
And follow the Transition Podcast on YouTube and Instagram. And also, if you're an athlete, former athlete, join the Athlete Forever community that can be found at We Are Athletes Forever on Instagram. Any other comments?
I mean, you took them all from me. That's everything I was going to say. But like everybody said, thanks for watching the Transition Podcast. This is episode 1. We are looking forward to bringing you a lot more episodes with a lot of great talent just like this and their stories, and hope you guys really enjoy it.